Hello. Assalamu alaikum. This is Ahmed Zakaria. Today we're explaining something in Photoshop. We'll make a pop-up design. So this design we will explain how to make it like how to put layers on layers, how to make something called the clip art and all things. But first we will revise about what we said in the previous video in the Photoshop tutorial. We talked about the graphic design concept. We said we got a raster image and we got a vector image. Raster image, the pixel resolution base. Vector image, they are shapes. We have some shapes and we make them like a composite of it's a composite of shapes. So we put these shapes together to give me our graphic design. And we also talked about the silk screen. The silk screen, simply let me get a photo of it here. This is the silk screen mesh, and we got this our material. So first we got the mesh and we got our material. This material is a chemical material which is with the energy of light or with the energy, this energy it may be a light, UV light. This energy it may be a heat. If it was a light like UV light, like fluorescent or sunlight, because the sun is picture actually like part of the sun is picture is UV. So the UV it can motivate the molecules of this chemical material. So also we can make that with heat, with high temperature. High temperature also will motivate something called molecules of this material. So simply we got material, we put on the mesh, we print some papers, transparent paper, we put on it, and then with the help of light, sunlight, fluorescent light, it's gonna make the pattern. This pattern, like this white, is the pattern. Here the pattern is yellow and red. This is our pattern. So it only will print the pattern. So this pattern, after that, with we're gonna put ink, because actually ink is a chemical molecule. This chemical molecule with the UV light, it's gonna penetrate only your pattern that you made from the first step. So the first step we make our pattern, and the other step we put ink on the pattern, so the ink will only penetrate the light, the pattern. So or that because the sunlight actually, or the UV light, is a spectrum. Let me say that to you. Let me say the visible spectrum. This is the visible spectrum. The visible spectrum is composite of many lights. Each light has its own unique wavelengths. So we got something called photons, and these photons each photon has its own energy and has its own color. So this photon has the benefit to store the color with the specific wavelength. So it's gonna make the pattern. You ask how we can make the pattern, how we can get, why we can make this pattern like this. This is here like white. How we can get this light? I said before, the pattern, the photon has its own light and own energy. So this color is gonna be on the material, and with the help of ink it's gonna penetrate only the pattern. So that's to show up what we said, because maybe it was not clear, but so now I made it like clear. The another thing today we're gonna say, what is the Photoshop? The Photoshop, and to make something like this, first we got our tool, navigation tool here on the left, and we got the environment. It's called the environment, and we got panels here, the layers panels here, layer panel. We put layer on the other layer, so we can make our design. And here, this environment or workspace, we can make our own workspace. Here, new workspace, and in this workspace we can move any panel of this. Like here, we can move this here, the navigation tool here, can put it here, and we can move anything here like this. Okay, we can make this here, and we double click on it to show it up. This workspace, actually we can save it. So like by default we can click on Essentials, so we got the default workspace. So another thing I want to say, to start to make something like this, and also I will upload this design on some of the uploading sites. So sorry for that. So let's get started now. We're gonna click on new. We can change international paper or any size. If you want to make your own size, we're gonna click on custom. Custom, here change millimeter, pixel, centimeter. We're gonna click on centimeter, and we will change 21 centimeter by 29.7 centimeter. Here 300, I said before, this is the default resolution for if you're gonna make a banner or the poster in ultimate way. You got to make this resolution 300 pixels in inch. So this resolution is gonna hold 3 pixels. Each pixel has its own color. This color is gonna be it can be red, green, blue. And we're gonna talk about the color management later, because we got something called color management. This color management is a problem when we print from the screen, which is RGB, red, green, blue transistor. We want to refer to these colors on the machine, which is CMYK, cyan, magenta, yellow, black color or key color. So color management is we will talk that later, but now let's get started. You can also here change RGB color, CMYK color as you want, and let's get hit on OK. Now it's gonna generate a new tab to your design. This is a new tab. First we got image, wanted to rotate the image, so image here, image rotation, and we change 90 degree to make it like this. So first we got to unlock the layer here. This is a lock to lock the layer. This lock we will unlock it by click on Alt and double click on it. So this is the lock here, as you see. This is the lock. When you start, it's gonna be has a lock like this. This lock, you will not be able to put some layers on it. You're gonna make, if you wanna edit on it, if you're gonna cut a part of it, it will not be. It will be impossible. So first, we got to unlock our layer. This is the layer, and we got to unlock. Double click on it. So when you double click on it, it will unlock the layer. Let's show that again. So sometimes if we're gonna start, and as you are new, you don't have any experience about Photoshop, it's gonna be difficult. What is that look? How we can start? If you want to put some layers on it, if you're gonna edit the layer, it's gonna be a problem. Why can't make this edit? So first, simple way, and I said we can press Alt, double click. Alt, you press on the Alt key and double click. It will become like this. Okay. Image, rotation. Now we get our layer. Here we can make a new layer. See? Sorry, this is for group. Here, new layer. So we will here use layers as we will drag and drop image. So to make something like this, it has goats and this grass, and we got like frame and this background. How we can make this frame? How can we get this goat, and we put it on the grass, and then we make something like this. We start to make the background. The background, actually, we got something called gradient tool. We will hit on the gradient tool here. Gradient tool. The gradient tool, whether can be linear or radial. The linear, let me hit. This is linear, and this is radial. The linear, you can change your own gradient or to get your own shade of any color. Each color has its own shade. So how we can make our pattern, gradient pattern? We click on the gradient, and here we tell him please start from. Double click on this again. Double click on this, and we will change our color. Maybe it's gonna be like this. Okay. and we will get all shades to, we get another light, something like this. So we get all the available shades between these two colors, and hit OK. And then how to use it? Okay, we now are on the gradient tool. So now we will click by the mouse and we will drag. If you want to make a straight way, you will click on the shift to make it straight like this. Shift. Okay, it will make gradient. This is linear. Why? Because as you see, this is the first color and it's shades, and it's gonna be like a gradient to the other color. It gets all available shades. But if we're gonna change here, radial. If we're gonna change radial, and we will say also click on the shift to make it like a straight line. See, straight line. It's gonna be radial. You know, radial like a circle. So shade from, it's gonna be like, it's gonna start from the middle of the circle. The middle of the circle here. This is the first color, and the old shade or the other shade, the other color, will be like a circle pattern. Okay. So here we're gonna change linear gradient. It's okay. So here we can hit on shift. Don't forget to hit on shift. This shift is very important. So now we will search for goat. We will search for a goat, and we want a higher resolution photo, because sometimes if it's not, if we wanted to print on a banner, something like 100 by 100 centimeter, your image, it's gonna be, or it has to be like a resolution image, which is like it has a lot of pixels. And if you want to know or to see the print size, to see if it's your image is gonna be clear or not, there is something called print size. As you see, we will click on this lens. As you see it here, this lens. Right click, print size. This is the print size in the actual. If it's gonna be a paper or like a poster, transparent paper, it's gonna be like this in the same size. So in nature, your design is gonna be like this with this size, so you can see if your pixels are clear or not. With if you're gonna print 300 centimeter by 330 meter poster, and you want to know the print size, what about my image? If it's gonna be like this, maybe it's not gonna be clear. How we can declare in an easy way to determine what about the pixels? So this is the easy way. Here we hit on this lens, and we say right click, print size to get. Or course also we can zoom in, zoom out. And if you want to move, we can press also Control plus to zoom, and Control subtract sign sorry, to zoom out, like this. Zoom in, zoom out. Okay, if we are gonna zoom like this and we want to move, we can move. we can move in an easy way. Like this, we got our scroll bar to move, and also we can use the space on keyboard to move while we are zooming, like this. If you're gonna click on this space, we're gonna see the hand. This hand is actually gonna move your design. Sorry for that. Because I don't have mouse here, I have my own. So if you're gonna click here and drag, it's gonna move. But as I don't have mouse here, so it's not compatible with the mouse pad. Not compatible. So now we're gonna click Control 0 to get the original size. Control 0 to make the original size. Okay. So now we're gonna get our goat, something like this. Okay. Drag, drop, and we drag here. If you want to keep the same proportion, we got to hit on the shift, and this edge we're gonna make something like this. If we're gonna make the mouse down, it's gonna be low width and low height, and if we wanna gonna make we're gonna enlarge the height and the width, so we're gonna make it up. So now this is, or the image is still on the edit mode, as we see this sign and we see the edge. If we're gonna hit on OK or enter, keyboard enter, now it's gonna be on the layer or on the other layer. As you see, it's on the other layer. As you see, this eye, to make it visible or not visible. If we're gonna click here, it's not gonna be visible, it's gonna be invisible. And if we're gonna click here, this layer is gonna be invisible also. So what is the meaning of this square? As you see, it's different for this. It has a square. This square, it means that is a vector base, or a vector base. That means if you're gonna make something like this, if you wanna edit the image, is indeed very simple. We can hit on the edit mode. Again, we can click on Control key, but you got to make sure always that you have something called the selection tool. Here, as you see the cursor, so we use here a tool called the text. So if we wanted to drag or drop, it will be gonna be a problem. It's not the selection tool. See? So to make it simple, we will click now the selection tool. Where is the selection tool? Here. The first one, selection tool. The selection tool, when you click on it, you can move the layer, as you see. If you want to move this layer, we can click here and move this layer also. Sometimes if you wanted to declare which layer you wanted to move, right click and it change. This is the layer I want to move now, or edit. No, this is the layer I want to move, and as you see, like, it changes here also. So you can change it here or here. If I want to enlarge this photo, what can I do? First, you can change here the photo here, and we said also it's called the vector. It has a square which is object. It is a vector base. So if we're gonna enlarge it, will not affect the pixels because this is the original image. This is the nature of this image. It's a pixel. It's a shape base. Okay. And now we change photo to enlarge it. How we can enlarge? Simply, we can click on Control T. Control T. It will make something like this. So I will not say to you that you can use this panel, this edit. Of course, we can use this tab, but simply I will get you to use a shortcut that you can use to simply edit any image you want. So Control T to get the edit mode, and now we'll hit on the edge and we hit on the shift and we will enlarge. Okay, if we want to enlarge here and the other way in the same proportion, it's gonna increase here. We also wanted to increase here the value. So sometimes if you're gonna make something like this, it's gonna distort the image. So what we can do, simply we click on the Alt. See, if you're gonna click Alt, when you drag and drop, it will also enlarge the other way. And if you're gonna be here, if you're gonna click Shift, it's gonna enlarge with the same proportion, and it will not distort the image. And if we're gonna click Alt, see, this is the difference. Alt. So now we will hit on Enter, and we wanted to cut this code. We wanted to cut it, okay, and we want to remove the background. How do we can remove the background? Easy. We got something called pen tool. This pen tool, actually here, pen tool. If we're gonna click, we change the first one, pen tool, okay, or we can click on P from the keyboard. So now we're gonna zoom to see the edges, okay, and we, of course, if we want to give to get the proper cutting, we have many ways. We will explain later, but now this is the essential way. We have something called the pen tool. As we see, if we want to get back to the edit mode of the pen tool, we click Control Alt Z. See, Control Alt Z to get the previous step. Control Z to get the previous step. Control Alt Z to get the previous of the previous step, like this. So we get anchor point, we hit point, and point. We make something like graves, like this. See, now we don't see that the actual edges, so we have to zoom like this. So if we gonna zoom, see, it's not clear. But this is a simple way. This line is not good. We have to make something like this. See, if you're gonna move here, right and left, you can be on the proper edges. And if you want to cut, because if you're gonna make this, it will be problem. See, so we will tell this curve we don't need the other curve. So we will hit on Alt. See Alt. Alt, and on the anchor point, one click, Alt and anchor point, it will cut it. So if we're gonna make another curve, it will be like straight. It will not take the previous one as curve. So I will make symbols. This is a simple way to cut your image, and as I am using I make like an essential cutting. Of course I don't need to make an professional cutting, because now we want to finish fast. But in real, we can concern to make and zoom in. We have to zoom in to see the true edges. But now, as I want to make this something like fast, sorry for that, Control Z, Control Alt Z to back. I want to back. Control Alt Z. And here, there is many ways to get, if you want to get the hair of, sorry, didn't get the true edges off. There you go, sorry. Cut this. See, if you want to move here, like this, see, as I'm using that, it's not compatible. Now we finished. How did we know finish? This is the start point and this is the end point. I just see, I stuck them like this. It will make your design like this, and now we'll click Control Enter to make it visible. You make your selection visible. So now we have to make, or we have to remove the background. How to work? We can remove the background. First we have to rasterize the image. We'll click right click rasterize layer to make it editable, so I can edit the layer. And now this is the pen tool. Remember always to change the selection tool. We will hit on V refers to the selection tool. So we'll hit on the V on the keyboard. So if you're gonna hit the V, see, you can move this. You can move this background. Okay, I want to make this on a separate layer. So okay, Control V, Control J to make a new layer. See this layer with only our selection. So now we got the goat, and we want to also to get the grass and the frame. Let's get the grass first. This is the grass here. Drag, drop it. Here. Use Alt and Shift to make it like this. Okay. I will sorry for that. I will make now this layer. See, as you see, this point, this is of the pen tool. So if we're gonna click P, we wanted to remove this, we are gonna click Control Enter, Control D. which you have to change the pen tool again. This is the pen tool. Control enter. To deselect, we will click on Control D to deselect the selection. Now we will make this layer down. Here I move the air down and click V. Don't forget to click V. If you want to make these edges like fade, see, as you see, it's sharp edges. How we can make this fade? This layer, we will click on Control and one click. See, Control, it will make the selection here. Again, Control. Actually, it's a double click, not one click. Control, one click only, but on this image here. Control, the one click. It will make the selection. We will get here view. I want to make these edges like fade, not select. Refine edge. I want to refine the edge. So as you see here, this is shift edge. This is to deduct some of the edge. Okay, this is the feather tool. It make like feather or fade tool. So we'll increase. If you want to see our edit, sometimes you have to change the overlay scale. See here, this is the area that was gonna be faded or feather. So we have to decrease a little bit like this. See, and we're gonna shift the image, shift the edge. We're gonna cut like this, okay? And here output, we want it to be in a new layer, so we will say new layer with layer mask, new layer here, new layer, and here, okay. So it's gonna make a new layer with the fade version. As you see, this is the original. Let's move this here. See the difference between the edges here and the edges here. Here the edges are very sharp. It's like you cut it, and here see the edges. It's a fade. So now we make it invisible, and we'll here, and we use something called the eraser tool. We'll press on E. This is the eraser tool, and this is called the brush of the eraser tool. So how we can use the eraser tool? The eraser tool, actually, here when we press on E, this is the eraser tool. Right click, change the first one, and here this is the brush. If you're gonna right click, you can change the size and make how you can delete. You wanted to delete sharp in a sharp way like this here. So the opacity by default is 100. This is the opacity. So see, this is if you want to use the eraser in the sharp way. No, I don't use Control Z, Control Z, and right click. I want to use the fade version, okay, and this is the size of the brush. So we can delete this. See, if we want to make the opacity of the brush, like we have the percentage, we can make like this. So if we're gonna make, see, it's gonna be a little bit. a little bit of opacity. As we have a simple or a low side image, we got the A4 space, so it's gonna be clear. But if it's gonna be on poster or something like this, more larger, no, this image is gonna be a problem because these details is gonna be faded on the image, and it's not gonna be clear. So now hit on V, and we got hit on V and move by mouse. We have this, so it doesn't have lake. So we can simply make something like actually we can rasterize to make it editable. I'll make something like this. Sorry for that. Of course, I wanted to remove these white edges. So to remove these white edges, I will make M for selection. So this is the selection, rectangle selection here. See, M, rectangle selection. If you want to like be like a circle or something like something like this stuff. So this is a rectangle here, and make sure that you are on the layer and click detail, delete from the keyboard. Here, select, delete. Control D to deselect. Move up. You want to make a frame. There is many ways to make the frame. Simple way, we have this shape tool. See, rectangle tool. This rectangle tool can be rectangle, can be ellipse. So we will change the rounded rectangle tool. This, and we have to change before we draw. Before we draw, we have to make the setting. The setting is the fill, which is the color inside, and the stroke. The stroke is the color outside. So the fill is the inside. We want the inside to be no color because we have this inside, yes. And the outside, we want to make any of color, or can I make gradient? We can make gradient color. Sorry for that. We can make gradient, or sorry, we can make pattern. And I'm gonna show you how we can make gradient. But now, let me change pattern. Yes, and then the radius of the round, because it's a rounded rectangle. So we want to know what is the radius of the round rectangle, or the angle. The angle of like this. See, the angle. This is called the angle. So now we draw the rectangle. Click on V. We can, how we can edit it, we can press again on the rectangle in the navigation toolbar and say, please make the stroke like this. Make the stroke like this, okay? So we want to pop up this code. So we will make this like here. And we will make the grass. I will make the grass now. Sorry. How we can edit the length, height, and that? We can press Ctrl T, change the round rectangle here. Ctrl T to enlarge the rectangle. But now I'm gonna enlarge the grass, and we'll make something called the clip art. See? This clip art, I said to him, please make the grass inside our frame, and make all the other space make invisible. So here, as you see, we wanted to make the grass inside, so we will make it up, and we will hit on Alt. See, if we will hit on Alt and move the mouse cursor, it will make a cursor. One click by the mouse, it's gonna be inside. Sorry. It's on the frame. We have to rasterize the layer first. Rasterize layer. Because this rectangle, it doesn't support, if you want to put something inside the rectangle, it does not support that. So we change the rectangle tool with another thing. Use this selection tool here. This selection tool, and I change here new layer. I will make a stroke for it. This is stroke. It's gonna be any color now. So now we have a new layer with this stroke. Of course, if we're gonna make, increase the stroke, make it outside. This is another way to make a shape. Make 20 pixel, okay. Now we got this in our layer. Control D to unselect. Right click here. V. And now we have the grass, and we may want to make a clip art. So to make the clip art, we put the grass in the upside, and we hit on that. Yes. Simply we will make the clip mask in the next tutorial. There's a problem now. Sorry for that. I can forget that. Sorry for that. But now you can know that we have the shape tool to make this border, to make rectangle like a frame. We have selection tool. We use it like this and make something like this. First we have to make new layer here, and you have to confirm that you're on the layer. Right click, give it a stroke. It will make a border. But now we will double click on the image and we will click stroke to give the image a stroke. Here we change the outside. It's gonna be gradient here. You can change the stroke. It can be gradient, something like this, inside your frame. But now we will change stroke only, and this is stroke, not gradient. If you want to make a gradient, like it's gonna be like this. Okay, this is gonna be gradient, or like this. Okay, this is another way to make a frame. 3 ways now. Okay, hit on OK. Now you have your image. It has a stroke. And now you can move it up, and as it hasn't a background, so it can be like this. We can change the color. Can change the background color, and as you see, we can change here the color to any color like this. Make the background, sorry, this is this color, the foreground color, and the another color we will describe later when we're gonna hit the Illustrator. But now we wanted to change here. How we can change the layer is background. Shift F5. Shift F5. It will make something like this, and we change the color here. Shift F5. Okay. So as it's a transparent, don't make transparent. Okay. Now we got the image with the frame. Let me say how to make to change the selection like this. I want to change this selection is background. I make this this area red. First, Control D to deselect. You have to make new layer, and then make the selection. It will be on this layer, and this selection you can right click and click fill stroke, or you can click Shift F5, simple way, Shift F5 to change the color from here. So you will change the specific area's color like this, and it will be only on this layer, so you can make it invisible or visible like this. See, make it invisible. Control D. Now we got our own pop-up goat or a pop-up image like this. Let me see the original image because I forgot how to make it like something like slide. We can see we have this image. Control T, and we will hit on the shift, hit on the control, hit on the control to make it like this. Hit on control, control to move one side of this selection. Make it straight. We click shift. Of course, there is another way. I will explain later. Control here, control, and move shift to be in the vertical way. Control, move up, shift to keep it like this. Control T. With a warp tool, it will make something like a paper, so we can move it easily. This is points. We can move some points like this. Like this. So we can press on control, or you can use the warp tool. See, like this. Like this, okay. This is the warp tool. Hit on enter. We want to make a shade, so also double click on the grass background. Here, inner shadow. We want to make a shadow for it. So we will increase the distance. This is inside. Change it normal. Opacity 100. Not inner shadow. We want outer, something else. Outer, not inner. Anything outer like this. No, it's the drop shadow. Drop shadow is actually to make it like. Let me change. This is outside, okay, to make something like a shadow. As you see, drop shadow. It's same size, spread, distance, and here on OK. Now it's gonna be like this. How can I make a leg for it? It's very easy. I can make some pattern. We can take some pattern and put here. I will not explain now. But of course I will explain later. Hit on Alt. This is to get pattern from the background and put here. It will put our pattern on the leg. Pattern. Click symbol from here. Put here. Click symbol from here, 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 put here. Now it's a little bit like it's like inside the grass. So that's it. Now we finish the pop-up, but I want also to talk about another thing is how to can save our image. We can click on File, Export. We can export as passes to Illustrator. I said to the Illustrator it needs shapes or passes. So we can make a pass or vector path for Illustrator. That's gonna be .ebs. Because Illustrator, it has format, not like image. There's difference between the raster image and the vector image. Raster image can be PNG, JPG, or anything like raster image, or TIF. PNG, actually, is the most resolution image. So if you want to change the most resolution image, change PNG. TIF is a resolution. C, save as. Save as. APS, this is for Illustrator. GIF or JPG. PNG is the most resolution base. Okay. TIF is actually for color. If you want a perfect color and perfect color shades, you have to use this thing. Okay. Now we know how to save the image and how to export it as to be like passes or to Illustrator. Another thing I want to say, how to change the color of this goat. I have this goat. I want to click on it like this. Click here. There is something called hue saturation. This is for change the color. What is the hue? What is the saturation? Hue is the view color. This color, it has something called tint. It's a mixture color with white. Shade is a mixture color with black, and the tone is the mixture with the color with the gray scale. Maybe it's gonna be black or white. Let me show the image for that. As you see, hue, pure color, tint, the plus white, shade plus black, pure color plus black, and there is tone, maybe it's a gray scale or something like this. Why I make something like this wheel? This wheel is important, something called complementary color. If you're gonna make a design, you want to make your design compatible, which is colors, it's gonna be compatible. So there is something called the complementary color wheel. This color actually, complementary color wheel, we can choose one side to the other side to be compatible. This is compatible, green is compatible with red, purple with yellow, and see all shades this wheel. So we can change here and it changes this degree. It's gonna be compatible. So something called the complementary color or the schema. It changes two opposite color on the color wheel. So it's gonna be good. This is the color management, and also if sometimes you have to change from the RGB or transistor RGB from the screen to the CMYK from here. Let me show, to make it compatible. Image, see, image, mode, you change to mode to CMYK to be compatible with the ink cartridge. You know that ink, there is cyan in the machine, printing machine, there is cartridge for the cyan, cartridge for this, it's like a tank for the cyan, magenta, yellow, key color or black color. So we can change here. Or if we're not gonna change, the color management tool, it's gonna change the most closest color to the real one, or to the CMYK. If it can make, it has a lot of shades of the color, because each color it has shades like this here. Each color has shades. These shades is gonna, it can I said before, it can be hue, the pure color, tint, when you mix the color with the white. Let me see on the Photoshop. Hue is the true color. Saturation, sorry, I wanted to change only, sorry, delete. You wanted to change only this, not all the so we will make a group, this, create a group, and we will put drag and drop here. so it will only affect the group. It will not affect the whole layers which are down. So another way, group, hue saturation, colorize. Sorry for that. We will not change a group. Group is useful for another way if you want to make something like invisible. Make this outside. Sorry for that. How we can make the saturation only affects the image or the goat. Because if you're gonna change it, it's gonna affect all that. So you have to control one click to select your image. I use saturation, colorize. Here it will affect only saturation. Saturation is actually the intensity of color. So make more intensity. This is the pure color, and this is the tint and shade. Tint, it will be white. See, tint. If you're gonna mix it with black, it's gonna be tone. We change, make it like right. So now we got our own way. We did know the color management, what is the hue, tint, shade, tone, and the pen tool, how to export, what is the group we put inside. We said if we're gonna use this tool, hue saturation, it will affect all the other layers which are down. So we click on the layer like this, control, one click, it will make the selection tool like this, and then change the hue saturation to affect only the selection. And also we explained the gradient and the color management, complementary color. And you got to know the shortcut that we used here. We used shift to keep the proportion, and we hit the alt to increase from the other side. Alt control, or we make something the claim mask. I will make now a claim mask, but I used now the 3 method. I don't forget the claim mask, how we can make a claim mask now, but I will explain now how we can make a claim mask. Well, sorry. A lot of safety, because this indeed is the most worst thing I have ever seen. Please. Sorry for that. Let's continue. But some people say that why you give me this stuff, and you studied programming, you studied graphic design, and you didn't find a job in programming and graphic design, so why you want me to learn all of this faculty of arts, faculty of science, computer science, and you didn't find a job in that? So why you give me this kind of stuff? I want you to know, really, that actually it's not a shadow, but I want you to be or can adapt with any kind of job and get your own experience, because let me say, and we get a draft to the lower degree ever. Most of country does not this country does not support people and urge people to learn or train for their field, whether they learn programming, computer science, graphic designs. But we got to be adaptable, and we can learn in any field and any work. So now we're gonna make a clip mask. A simple way to make a clip mask, that if we're gonna change the shape tool like this, the problem here, sorry, let me make a separate layer. Sorry for that. Change the clip tool. Oh, now we were on 1 hour. 1 hour and see, this is the rectangle tool. We have to make the setting first. So the setting, we have to make the stroke none. We don't need a stroke. So we will remove the stroke. Now it will be like this. Okay. And then we will make a drag and drop here. This grass. Enter. Sorry for that. Make another way. Fill, it has to be white or any color. Change any color for fill. But stroke, this is outline. We don't need a stroke. If you want to make a clip mask, please don't make strokes, because it's gonna be fill. This is something interesting. We make a stroke again. So that's it. We don't need a stroke. Make the shape. Okay. Put the grass upside. Hey, on. It will make a clip art. Click V. You can move your image inside the shape. So that's why this is the problem. Why we couldn't make, because if you're gonna make a stroke and you're gonna make a clip art, it's gonna be inside the stroke. So don't make a stroke, please. So don't make a stroke. This is the first one to make it shape. We changed another one, another way, which was we made new layer like this. M, press M. This is the selection, and I'm gonna change the Shift F5 to change the color inside the selection. Okay. Okay. Without stroke. Control D to deselect. Now remove. We will remove the clip. Release clip mask. Release clip mask, and then again Alt. We will place Alt, and see, one click. As you see, now we are inside the layer that we made. This layer, see. So don't make a stroke. If you want to make a clip mask, don't make a stroke. So that's it. This is Ahmed Zakaria. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Have a nice day.